First off, I'd like to thank Coach Steve, Coach Wilson for dealing with me and my attitude when it came to basketball games and basketball practice when things weren't going right. I'd also like to thank the parents for same thing, dealing with me. Also bringing them sandwiches and on away games so then they could play well and not be on an empty stomach that game. Also, I'd like to thank Stacy and Kathy. Those guys, they're the bookkeeper and scoreboard. Without them, things wouldn't run as smooth. And so, that's kind of a thankless job. And so I'd like to say thank you for that. First thing, I'd like to talk about most improved player. This guy, he didn't know any of the plays, and up to Christmas time. And at Christmas break, I'd get on my soapbox and talk about how am I supposed to put you in a varsity game if you don't know the plays. Well, that must have got to him. He was the top player off the bench when it came to defensive intensity, and then he shot the ball. He shot the ball well, and if I told him to shoot, he wouldn't even think twice. At the beginning of the year, I don't think he would have done that same thing. Kyle Frederier, he's our most improved player this year. I'd like to thank the JV for being there and playing hard, keeping practices competitive all year. There never seemed to be any sort of fights that got in between the varsity and JV players. The JV, they just kept working hard and going, and a couple of those JV players that kept working hard towards the end of the year, they got on varsity, and that's kind of what it takes. And that competitiveness, that they had all year, that's kind of why I think they ended up as successful as they did. Just because that group's always below them's always pushing them, and so that's awesome. And the varsity this year, they were pretty much age-wise, they were a JV team. But when it came to skill-wise, they had skills of an older player, and I just kind of thought that was amazing how they played up. At the beginning of the year, you might not have seen it. If you look at the Marino game, the first time we played them, if you look at the amount of turnovers we had, and then I'm talking about Michael, Kyle, Owen, Clayton, David. Those are our point guards. Without those guys, competing each and every day, they wouldn't have got as good as they did bringing the ball up the court. That if you compare that first game at Marino to the second game we played against Marino, they just kept getting better, and that's all you can ask for as a coach. Isaac, is he a post? Is he a guard? This guy, he was definitely a team player. He didn't know. I don't even think he still knows what he was all season. And I don't either. And I don't know what he'll be next season either. But he definitely stepped up. When we got in foul trouble, he would turn into a guard. When we weren't in foul trouble, he'd stay a post. He was definitely all around a great athlete. He kept, he would push the team. Those guys, Michael would play post a couple times. If you watch the Marino game, I had Michael in there at post because we got in foul trouble with the posts. And so, all around our players this year, they could go from one position to another, and it was pretty awesome to see. This year for all conference, we had Owen and Ryan both receive votes. Ryan got all conference, and that, not surprised by that at all. He played awesome. Ryan was definitely our rock this year. He couldn't miss from the free throw line. He had a great year. I think it surprised him, but now he's not going to be surprised anymore. He's got to maintain that level, and I'll be expecting the same or higher, Ryan. So no pressure, but you got to play better. So on that note, me, Coach Steve, and I, we talked about MVP and how we wanted to go about it this year. And in years past, the team votes, and I always thought that was some sort of popularity contest. And I think it really says something when another coach is voting for you around the league. And so we kind of looked at it as, we're going to look at how this coach voted or these coaches voted. And then, we would veto it if we didn't think it was right. But we think that, with the leadership that this kid had, and if there was a problem, I bring him into the locker room, I could tell him what's up, and we would never have that problem again. He's a captain. The kids look up to him. Ryan Temple is definitely our MVP this year. There's other guys on the team that deserve it as well. they all played well. There was a couple other leaders on the team that, there's a lot of situations that we needed them for, and they guided us through with it. I just think Ryan, when it comes to skill level, when it comes to playing, when it comes to leadership, he was our top guy, and he really showed it on the court and in the locker room. On that note, I would like to thank the players. Just Coach Steve and I's age together is 46 years old. So to trust us with with knowledge and to learn from us, they acted like we were all stars. It just was crazy. We probably both average in high school, but they just they acted like we were all stars, and they listened to everything we said, and they would take what we said and progress on it, and they got better on throughout the year, and it was amazing to me to see how they reacted to us, and they listened to us, and if we told them something, they would do it and then beyond and go above and beyond and do something better than what we asked. And so this group of kids, they're amazing, and that's why we'll be back next year. And go Bulldogs.